Hello everybody, Shadows here. So I keep having the question asked, should people switch to EVRIMA in the Isle? Or should they stick to Legacy? So I'm going to give you my opinion, my 2 pence worth on the subject of whether they should switch to EVRIMA or whether they should stay with Legacy. So we'll go through the pros, the cons of both EVRIMA and Legacy, and come to a conclusion at the end. You know, my conclusion might be different to yours, but that's totally fine. So we'll get into it. So EVRIMA's pros, you know, at the moment they've just released that new update. The EVRIMA update on the Isle has got nice graphics, which is good. So you know, they've upgraded the lighting, they've upgraded. They've gone to Unreal 4 engine, which looks absolutely gorgeous. So the graphics are a big pro at the moment, which is obviously works in their favour. They've got better sniff mechanics in game. So in the old Legacy, you'd sniff and it'd be quite difficult to see people's footprints, to find food. In the new EVRIMA branch, they've got a better sniff, so then you can see footprints more clearly, and you can see food particles and water particles more clearly, and in which direction they're coming from. So that kind of sniffs into your nose a little bit. When there's big groups of herbivores and carnivores, it gives off a bigger scent, like bigger scent particles. So again, that's a big pro. They got gorgeous base models and animations. So the dinosaurs they have got in EVRIMA, great models. They look fantastic. You know, one of the best I've seen in dinosaur games. So big thumbs up there. They've actually got collision in the game. So if you're running into, say, a tree, you'd stop just like you would in real life, which is actually a really big complex mechanic. So it's the same for other dinosaurs. If you won't go running through people, you won't be phasing in and out of trees, etc. So if you do hit like a tree or a dinosaur or whatever, that collision is there. Better hitboxes. So if you bite, say, a certain part of the body, it's going to have more or less damage, and there seems to be a lot more on point than in the previous versions. There's no alt turn needed because they've got a built-in mechanic now where you can turn on the spot, turn left and right, whereas before you couldn't do that. It'd be like parking a flipping tank. You'd be trying to turn round left, right and centre. Nah. So at least on this now you've got it. So if you push back, for example, it'll automatically turn around and come back on the spot, which is great. There's new dinosaurs which you've never seen before in the Legacy branch. So you've got the likes of the Hypsy, with new mechanics as well. So they've got the spitting mechanic. So again, they're building on foundations for a great game. So new mechanics with new dinos. Food. So for example, you kill a dinosaur, you can eat from it, obviously. But obviously you can now, within EVRIMA, you can pick up the body and drag it if you need to, and you can also rip off chunks of meat and carry that with you as well. So that's also a big pro for EVRIMA. They've also got seamless growth, so no more the evolve. So you never click the evolve button, the growth button anymore. So it's seamless, so it'll grow all the way up to adult, and you won't have to push any button or anything like that. So that's great. So that's the pros. Pros done out the way, if you like. Now on to the cons. So the cons in EVRIMA in the Isle. Lag. I was playing earlier today and rubber banding like crazy. I was going pinging back and forth, left, right and centre. Didn't know where I was coming or going. So the lag was pretty bad today. And the server wasn't full, my ping wasn't full, it was like 60. So it's not as if I was like connecting to Australia or something. I'm in the UK. It wasn't as if I was trying to connect around the world. It was just, it wasn't very good. There is still a lot of bugs, which you can see in the video as I'm talking. So there was a bug earlier when I was a carnal. And this is an example. Minding my own business, just trotting along as you do, and all of a sudden, just dropped dead. Literally just dropped dead. No explanation, just died. So there are bugs, which is to be expected, to be fair, because it's still in beta. So I don't want to beat it down too much. There's no nesting mechanic in currently. Again, these are all things which are going to be fixed and supposedly are in the works. So they've got a roadmap which you can check out as well and see what they've got lists of things they're currently working on. So there's no nesting at the moment, but that is coming in. The grouping system I personally find quite poor and lacking compared to previous versions, where at the moment you've got to be local to them. So for example, I'm my little dinosaur, I've got to find another little dinosaur, two call at it, they two call back, and then we become friends and we're in a group together. That's fine for immersive purposes, get that, totally get it. But say I want to play with Celatay, she's over one side of the map, I'm over the other. We can't automatically group off the bat, we have to try and find each other using landmarks, which again is quite difficult because there's no working map at the moment, so we can't use a working map to find out where we are with our coordinates to then meet up. So I find the grouping system quite lacking, and there is no working map. There's lack of variety. So we've, at the moment in EVRIMA, 5 or 6 dinosaurs at the moment. So you kind of see the same dinosaurs over and over again. So there's a lack of variety on that front with the dinosaurs. There's no dinosaur customization at the moment either. So you can be a male and you can be a female, which is great, which they've put that in. But you can't customize your skins, you can't do anything like that. But apparently, you know, that's coming in as well. So again, these are cons, but hopefully they should be fixed in time. Lack of AI, personally. You know, everyone's yapping on about AI and all this. I haven't seen a single AI. And if I have, I couldn't tell it from a... Well, I suppose it's a good thing if you can't tell it from a player, but I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any, which brings on to another con, because people can't find this AI. It's just complete carnage of kill on sight. So I've met numerous Carnos and Utas as same species, and they will just kill on sight now because they can't find anything to eat. So I find that a bit of a con. There's no night vision at the moment, so they've implemented nights and they've kept them lighter, but there's no night vision. On my screen, personally, I can't see a thing. So there's no night vision. I find lack of full servers as well. So the new EVRIMA update has just been released on the Isle, and I find that there are servers, yeah, don't get me wrong, but there's a lack of full servers. So it's been 2 days now, maybe 3 days since the update's been released, and servers are already starting to dwindle. There is reports of people having blurry motion and blurry screens as well because of the resolution, which isn't great, so that's a con. A lot of random disconnects, I guess. So the video which is playing in the background, you'll see I'm disconnected 3 or 4 times, just playing just random disconnects. So that's a bit of a bug there. And the sound direction, like with a Hipsy, for example, a Hipsy will make a noise. I can't tell if it's behind me, in front of me, left, right, centre, how far away it is, how close it is. I can't tell, so I can't use sound to hunt or find anything. That kind of sums up where EVRIMA is for me personally. Let's move on to Legacy and see how we feel about that. So the Legacy pros and cons now. So what we think of Legacy. Is it good? Is it bad? Should you switch to Legacy? Should you stay at EVRIMA? What should you do? So let's go through the pros. So the pros of Legacy, it's got a diverse dino roster. So there's over 20 dinosaurs, possibly even 30 dinosaurs in Legacy. There is so many to choose from, all with the unique traits and stats, I suppose. They haven't got any specific mechanics as such, but they've all got a diverse set of stats, which is great. So there's lots and lots of dinosaurs on the roster which you can choose from. It's a big map. It's a familiar map for players who've been playing it, and it's got an actual map system which you can use and see where you are with the coordinates, etc., which EVRIMA at this time hasn't got. So you can find each other on the map if you need to. It's got a good grouping system, so again you can group with someone halfway across the map and try and run to each other and use that map online to find each other. So the grouping system I much prefer and think that's a pro. There's nesting currently in there, so you can nest each other in as babies, and again you're automatically in the group with each other, and that's all there. The sounds, so I personally find the sounds a lot better. The sound direction works, so I can tell where things are coming from. I can anticipate their distance, so that's pretty good. Night vision is implemented, so they've got nights which are implemented, and the night vision's implemented as well. Simple AI. Now that's also something I'm going to put in the cons, because I've got it as a pro because it's nice and simple and there's lots of it. You can find AI and it's very easy to hunt, but it's also a con. But because it's simple, that's a con. It runs into trees, it doesn't run away from you, sometimes it'll run into you, so that's also a con. There's ample servers for Legacy at the moment, where there isn't for EVRIMA. So in the Isle, the Legacy branch, there's ample servers. You can find lots and lots of different servers. Realism, semi-realism, no rules, lots of servers. That doesn't mean that Legacy doesn't come without any cons, because it does. Same thing. You know, the cons for Legacy, it's got bugs. Bugs just like EVRIMA. You can fall through the map, you can get stuck on rocks, you can get stuck in containers, food glitches out, there's bugs galore. It's unfinished, so they were working on it. Some dinosaurs haven't got sniff ability, some dinosaurs haven't got nesting ability, some camera angles are a bit wonky. Yes, it is unfinished. Lack of tech support, because obviously they've moved on to a EVRIMA branch. There's no support for Legacy now, so you won't get any support. So if something's broken, they're not going to fix it. Which brings me on to the graphical bugs. There are numerous graphical bugs in the Legacy branch on the Isle at the moment, purely because they decided they were going to put patches out to stop Chinese servers injecting hypo dinosaurs in. They patched that out, and in doing so, they broke the lighting engine and tested all kinds of things with it, which now means there's no ambient sounds, which is a con, so you don't get any ambient sounds. Lighting glitches, so some trees will look super bright, then super dark. There's also then super dark nights because there's lightning glitch. In some areas you'll look down at the floor and then look up and then everything's completely black. It's really difficult to see.
What's he thinking?
There is no meat mechanics for you to pick up meat and rip that off and carry that around. You can't drag bodies. In EVRIMA, if a body lands in the water, you can drag it out and eat it. In Legacy, if it lands in the water, you can't eat it. It's game over. There are buildings in the Legacy branch on the map, and if you got close to them, you get static all over your camera, and it's kind of off-putting, and you can't really see. That's a bit of a con. I don't know what the developers were thinking there. Possibly something later on down the lines to do with the humans and everything implemented, but obviously it's unfinished, so it doesn't quite make sense. Lack of promised features, etc. were in there, you know, humans and what have you. So there are cons for both EVRIMA, and there are pros for EVRIMA and Legacy. Which brings me on to my personal thought. Do I personally want to stay with EVRIMA, or do I want to stay with Legacy? EVRIMA's got great potential to go on and become better than Legacy, but I personally feel as if I should go back to Legacy because there's more to keep me entertained. You know, I spent a few days on EVRIMA now, and already I'm feeling a bit exhausted because the variety isn't there for me personally with these other features on grouping. You know, I want to play with my friends and find them in the map, and I find that difficult with EVRIMA. So personally, I'm going to stick with Legacy until I add a few more. And if they continue with the way their development is going, and at the pace they've shown in the past month rather than the past 6, 8, 9, 3 or 4 years, we should be good. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button to show that you obviously enjoyed it. It'll also help circulate it around YouTube for me, so more people will see it and search and watch it. And if you want to see more, click that subscribe button down there somewhere. Click that subscribe button. It'll help you see more of my content and help me continue to grow. Massive thanks to Sellotape for helping me with all the pros and cons and what have you. Big thanks to all the recent subscribers, and support I've received has been phenomenal, so thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Have a great week, great day. That's it. Bye from me.